At 2:43 a.m., her phone buzzed, just once. That was all it took. I wasn't even trying to snoop. I'd been lying there wide awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wrestling the kind of thoughts you don't say out loud. The kind that ache quietly in your chest because you're afraid they might be true. That buzz. It wasn't loud, but it cut through the silence like a needle through fabric. I turned my head. Her face was peaceful, too peaceful. The soft rise and fall of her breathing, the slack of her mouth slightly parted. I'd watched her sleep like this before, but never with suspicion gnawing at me. We were getting married in 12 days. That night, we had just finished finalizing the seating chart. "Babe, your cousin gets drunk and hits on everything. He's not sitting near my grandmother," she'd laughed. Now here she was, the same woman I had once considered the safest place I'd ever known, and yet something didn't feel right. Maybe it started a few weeks ago, maybe months. Hard to tell with erosion. It's never one big moment. Just little pieces falling away. It was the way she'd started smiling at her phone more than at me. The new passcode I didn't recognize. The way she angled her screen when she typed. I chalked it up to wedding stress. God knows we were both juggling a lot. But sometimes your gut whispers before your brain understands. And that buzz? That was my whisper turning into a scream. I slid out of bed without making a sound. Her phone was on the nightstand, screen still dark. I picked it up. Locked, of course. I didn't know the new code. I hadn't known for over a month. That's when the idea hit me. Soft and uninvited. Like sin. I stared at her hand, limp on the duvet, thumb outstretched. "No," I whispered to myself. But I did it anyway. I gently lifted her hand, my fingers trembling. I pressed her thumb against the sensor. The phone unlocked. I didn't know what I was looking for. I wasn't even sure I wanted to find anything. Maybe just a half-hearted confirmation that I was being paranoid, that I was sabotaging a good thing with my own insecurity. But hope is a dangerous lens. It'll blur the edges of red flags if you let it. The message that had buzzed her phone was still unread. A notification from an unsaved number. "You still thinking about last night? I can still taste you." I froze. Literally stopped breathing. I clicked into it. My thumb scrolled instinctively, like muscle memory. This wasn't a one-time thing. There were messages going back months. Flirty ones. Explicit ones. Then emotional ones. The worst kind. "I wish it were your ring on my finger. He'll never love you like I do. I'd leave her tomorrow if you asked." There were pictures too. Some clothed. Some not. None of them were mine. I felt my knees weaken. I sat down at the edge of the bed. She stirred, just slightly, and I panicked, slipping the phone back and placing her hand where it was. But she didn't wake. I stared at the floor. The soft moonlight from the window fell across her bouquet draft sketches, the wedding RSVP stack, the little booklet where she'd been practicing signing my last name. I thought about how she cried when I proposed. Full sobs, not the fake kind. I thought about how she insisted on handwritten vows, how she kept calling me her forever. I thought about how her mother had hugged me last weekend and said, "You're the best thing to ever happen to her." I felt like a ghost inside my own life. At 3:27 a.m., I went to the kitchen and sat at the counter. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat, unmoving, as my whole world cracked like thin ice. My phone sat next to me. I picked it up and opened the wedding planning app. Everything we'd built for the ceremony, guest lists, vendor bookings, deposit schedules, honeymoon plans, it was all right there. And one by one, I started canceling them. Florist? Canceled. Catering? Gone. Venue? Called in the cancellation. Ate the deposit. I even sent a message to her maid of honor. Just one sentence. "You'll want to check her texts before you stand beside her in white." By the time the sun started bleeding into the sky, I had packed a single bag, locked her phone, and placed it quietly on her side of the bed. The engagement ring she'd given back for resizing, I set it on the kitchen counter, right beside her favorite coffee mug. No note. No explanation. Some things don't need words. I left my house, our house, at 6:12 a.m. with no destination. Just a rented car, a backpack, and the dull throb of a heart realizing it had been rehearsing for a wedding that was never going to happen. And the worst part? Even then, part of me still wanted it all to be a misunderstanding. Part of me still loved her. But the part of me that opened her phone with her thumb? That part knew better. The first thing I noticed when I turned off my phone was how quiet the world became. No buzzing. No vibrating alerts. No endless string of messages asking, "What's going on?" Why is the wedding canceled? Where are you? I disappeared into the quiet like a stone tossed into still water, gone without a splash, just ripples behind me. And the first place I drove? My dad's cabin 2 hours north. No cell reception, no Wi-Fi, just trees, old coffee tins, and a stack of firewood I didn't know how to split. I hadn't been there in 5 years. Not since he died. But when I opened the door and smelled the stale air and saw that old photo of him and Mom on the wall, it hit me how much I missed feeling grounded. Feeling like something was real. And that's when it started, the grief. Not just for the wedding or the betrayal, but for everything I had built in my head. The future, the home, the kids we named in passing, the Christmas mornings, the worn-out porch swing where I imagined us in our 70s. Gone. Not in a crash, not in a fight, but quietly, erased by a thumbprint at 2:43 a.m. I didn't sleep that night. I sat by the fireplace, turning that ring over in my hand like it could somehow make sense of what I'd seen. I couldn't even hate her. That was the worst part. I wanted to. I tried. But every time I saw her name in my mind, it wasn't the liar I saw. It was the woman I asked to marry me. The woman who kissed my forehead when I was sick. Who left sticky notes in my laptop saying, "I believe in you." Who cried when my dog died like it was her own. So I did something maybe I shouldn't have. I wrote her a letter. I didn't plan to send it, but I had to get the words out of my chest. Dear Jess, I don't know who you are anymore. I want to believe this wasn't all a lie. That somewhere in those photos and messages, the version of you I knew still exists. The woman who sat cross-legged on the kitchen floor with me at 1 a.m., eating cereal from the box and planning our life together. But you made a choice. Over and over again. You chose someone else in secret while you built a future with me in public. I want to ask why, but I'm afraid of the answer. Because if it's something I lacked, something I missed, then I'll spend the rest of my life wondering what I could have fixed. And if it's nothing, if you did this just because, then I'll never trust again. I loved you. All the way. With no exits, no backup plan. And now, I'm left picking up pieces of a life that never really existed. At least not for both of us. I won't come back. There's nothing to come back to. But I needed you to know. I saw everything. You don't get to rewrite this. You don't get to say I left you without reason. I left because I finally opened my eyes. I folded the letter and slid it into a drawer. That's where it stayed. Still there, probably. Next to an old pack of matches and a forgotten flask of my dad's. The days blurred together after that. I didn't talk to anyone. I chopped wood even when I didn't need it. Burned food I didn't feel like eating. Went for long walks with no destination. I'd stare at the lake and wonder how I missed it. All of it. There were signs. The phone's secrecy. The way she started talking about needing space, but never explaining from what. Her sudden obsession with the gym, though she always came home looking more refreshed than exhausted. The new perfume she never wore around me. And the strange thing? My gut knew. Deep down, I think I always knew. But love, it's a kind of blindness we willingly put on. Not because we're naive, but because we want to believe that this time, we're safe. She made me feel safe. And that's what made it hurt most. 3 days later, I finally turned my phone back on. The messages poured in like floodwater. Where are you? Jess is saying you just ghosted. What happened? Are you okay? Dude, you're not seriously canceling the wedding? Then her message. Just one. Please come home. We can talk. I love you. I'm sorry. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I was considering it, but because of the way she wrote home. Like it still was. Like I still belonged to her. She followed it up with voice messages. Rambling, half crying, half defiant. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. It was before you proposed, I swear. You weren't there for me emotionally. You shut down. He understood me. And there it was. The part that made my chest tighten. Because that last one, I had feared it. I had felt it. And maybe she was right. Maybe I had been too closed off. Too logical. Too focused on security and stability. I didn't know how to be the fireworks anymore. I had become the campfire. Steady, warm, predictable. But you don't cheat on a campfire. You sit beside it. You talk to it. You ask for more warmth if you're cold. You don't lie. You don't pretend. You don't write love letters to another man while planning your wedding. That's what I kept telling myself. Even when my heart, stupid and stubborn, kept looking for reasons to go back. It took one final message to seal it. One I hadn't seen before. Buried deep in her archive. I found a video she had recorded. Not for me. For him. And in it, she laughed, that same laugh I used to live for, and said, "I can't believe he still has no idea. I'm marrying him in 2 weeks, and all I can think about is you." I stared at that screen until it blurred. Then I did the only thing left to do. I deleted every trace of her from my phone, my drive, my accounts. Blocked her, blocked him, blocked anyone who tried to talk me into closure. Because some endings don't need conversations. They just need silence. And that's what I gave her. Until today, when I opened that drawer again and picked up the letter. I never meant to send the letter, but I did. Maybe it was weakness. Maybe it was the need for some final word. Not closure. I don't think that really exists. Just the quiet satisfaction of being understood, even for a moment. I took a photo of it with my phone, attached it to an email with no subject line, and sent it to her personal account, the one she never used for social media, just private stuff. No text, no explanation. Then I deleted the draft and went for a walk. It rained that afternoon. The kind of steady, low drizzle that soaks your hoodie and leaves your shoes heavy. I didn't care. I walked down the lake path until I couldn't feel my hands. When I got back to the cabin, my phone was blinking. Unread message. From her. Not a wall of text. Not a voice memo. Just 5 words. I read the letter. Sorry. I stared at it for a long time. That word, sorry, people throw it around like a towel at the end of a workout. Used. Damp. Casual. But this one felt different. I didn't respond. I think we both knew there was nothing else to say. And still, her words rattled in my head for weeks after. 2 months passed. I moved into a small apartment in a different city. Took a contract job that paid just enough and kept me just busy enough. My social media went dark. Most of my friends stopped reaching out after the 3rd or 4th "I'm fine" message with no explanation. Except one. Matt. He was supposed to be my best man. He showed up at my door on a Wednesday with beer and that look, the kind only people who love you carry. The one that says, "I don't care how much you push me away, I'm staying." We sat on my floor. No furniture yet. Just 2 folding chairs, a box of old books, and the faint hum of a city I hadn't learned to love. "You want to tell me what happened?" he asked. I told him everything. All of it. The late-night message. The thumbprint. The texts. The video. The silence. The ring on the counter. And when I finished, he didn't say, "What a be asterisk asterisk asterisk." Asterisk, he didn't say, "You dodged a bullet." He just nodded slowly and said, "Damn, man. That's brutal." Then he added, "I'm proud of you." That part caught me off guard. For walking away, he clarified. For not losing yourself in the middle of it. Most guys would have raged, gone scorched earth, tried to ruin her. You just left. I shrugged. Didn't feel like there was anything left to fight for. He raised his beer. That's exactly why it matters. I started therapy the next week. Not because I was falling apart, but because I knew the kind of pain I was carrying didn't just vanish with time. It calcifies. And I didn't want to carry that weight into my next relationship, if there ever was one. I told my therapist everything too. She listened quietly, then asked me one question I didn't expect. "Did you ever cheat?" The answer came out faster than I expected. "No, never." She smiled gently. "Then let's work on making sure you don't punish yourself like you did." That stuck with me, because in some twisted way, I had been punishing myself, wondering what I missed, what I lacked, whether I had slowly become the kind of man a woman could fall out of love with. It's funny how betrayal doesn't just make you angry at them. It makes you question everything about yourself, your worth, your instincts, your ability to see people clearly. About 4 months after I left, I ran into her. It was at a bookstore of all places. I was flipping through a photography book, and she walked in alone. Hair shorter, jacket too big for her frame. She didn't see me at first, but I saw her, and I froze. It's a surreal thing, seeing someone who once made your world spin, and feeling nothing but a quiet ache where the love used to be. She looked up, caught my eyes, paused. "Hey," she said. I nodded. "Hey." We stood in silence for a few seconds. Not awkward, just still. "You look good," she said. "So do you." She shifted her weight. "Look down." "I got the ring resized," she said, almost to herself. "For nothing." I didn't respond. "I lost a lot," she added. "Friends. Work. Trust." I nodded. "Yeah. So did I." She looked up, eyes glassy. "Do you hate me?" I thought about it. "No," I said. "But I don't miss you either." She gave a sad little smile. "Fair." And that was it. No apology. No plea. Just two people in a quiet bookstore, carrying different versions of the same story. I don't know what she tells people about what happened. I don't really care. What I do know is this. That night, the night I opened her phone, changed me. Not just because of what I found, but because of what I chose to do after. I didn't scream. I didn't rage. I just walked away. I left a version of myself in that bed. The man planning a wedding. The man who believed love was enough. The man who hadn't learned yet that trust is a verb, not just a feeling. That man died quietly. But the one who took his place? He's still here. He's careful now. Slower to open up. But not bitter. Because pain doesn't make you broken. It makes you sharp. If you let it. And some betrayals don't end with revenge. They end with clarity. I don't check phones anymore. I check consistency. I check alignment. I check whether the person beside me is someone I'd trust to sleep with my phone in their hand. And if I ever feel the need to lift someone's thumb again, that's my sign to leave, not to investigate. Because love should never have to be proven in the dark. And trust? Trust should never need unlocking.